Welcome to Starlight Sci-Fi, where we uncover thrilling tales from across the stars. Immerse yourself in stories of mystery, exploration, and humanity's place in the universe. Subscribe for weekly adventures beyond imagination. In the darkest corners of the galaxy, the Draconian Empire's fleet of force feared across thousands of star systems vanished without a trace. What destroyed the greatest armada ever assembled? And why does the trail lead to an unassuming, backwater planet called Earth? The Draconian Empire was the stuff of nightmares across the galaxy. For over 1,000 years, its shadow loomed over countless civilizations. Entire planets fell silent in its wake, their histories rewritten or erased entirely. At the heart of this empire's dominance was its formidable military machine, the Draconian fleet. The fleet was an engineering marvel, a symbol of sheer power and unrelenting conquest. Spanning over 10,000 warships, it boasted an arsenal that could pulverize moons and reduce entire planets to dust. Each ship was a blend of advanced technology and ruthless efficiency, crafted with one purpose: to conquer. The Eclipse of Eternity, their flagship, was more than just a vessel. It was a mobile fortress capable of leading invasions single-handedly. Protected by energy shields impenetrable to most known weapons, it housed millions of Draconian warriors and countless drone swarms. Behind it trailed an armada equipped with enough firepower to extinguish entire star systems. When the Draconians targeted a planet, the outcome was always the same. Peaceful negotiations were never an option. A system's surrender only delayed the inevitable. Resistance brought swift and total destruction. The message to the galaxy was clear. There was no escaping the Empire's grip. Yet, for all their dominance, the Draconians were not mindless conquerors. They were strategic and meticulous, using their advanced intelligence networks to assess potential threats. They sought to preemptively eliminate anything that could challenge their rule. Most of the galaxy's powers had fallen into submission long before the fleet reached them, crippled by fear. The Draconians' path to supremacy had been methodical, and their final goal was clear: absolute control over every star system. As their conquests expanded, their gaze eventually turned toward the fringes of the galaxy, unexplored, sparsely populated regions where their dominance had not yet been felt. It was here that they found Earth, orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. The fleet's initial scans revealed a planet teeming with life but possessing primitive technology. To the Draconians, Earth was just another backwater world, its inhabitants barely worth a second glance. What little they learned about humans suggested they were fragile, slow-evolving creatures. Their technological advancements were laughable by galactic standards, their weapons primitive, and their defenses non-existent. In every measurable way, Earth posed no threat. But for the Draconians, the principle was clear: no world, no matter how insignificant, would be left unclaimed. The Draconian High Command issued the invasion orders without hesitation. A single detachment of the fleet would suffice to crush Earth and assimilate its resources. They predicted no resistance, no complications, and certainly no surprises. The fleet entered the Sol system with the precision of a well-oiled machine. Scans of Earth's surface confirmed the presence of scattered human settlements, dense urban clusters, and rudimentary defense networks. The warships began positioning themselves, preparing for what was expected to be a swift and unremarkable operation. Then, without warning, the first ship vanished. There was no explosion, no signal, just silence. Moments later, another ship disappeared. Confusion rippled through the fleet, their flawless systems failing to explain what was happening. The Draconian commanders, so accustomed to being the predators, found themselves ensnared in a mystery. This was not a simple conquest. Something was waiting for them, something they hadn't anticipated. The galaxy shuddered with unease when word of the Draconian fleet's disappearance began to spread. For centuries, the Empire's armada had been a constant, an undeniable force of nature. Entire civilizations had fallen in its path, their names erased from the stars. To hear that such a force and invincible machine of conquest had simply vanished was a mystery too vast for most to comprehend. The last confirmed location of the fleet was a small, unremarkable solar system on the edge of the galaxy. All communication had ceased shortly after the fleet's arrival there. No distress calls, no emergency beacons, no fragments of data. What made the situation even stranger was the lack of debris or wreckage. Normally, the destruction of ships on such a scale would leave behind evidence fields of shattered hulls, radiation spikes, or at least energy signatures. But there was nothing. Reconnaissance probes sent by rival galactic powers arrived at the coordinates only to find silence. Sensors picked up faint traces of residual energy, but the readings were inconsistent, almost chaotic, as if reality itself had been disrupted in some way. The absence of answers gave rise to fear and speculation. How could a fleet of that size, armed with the most advanced technology in the known universe, disappear without a trace? Some blamed cosmic phenomena. The outer edges of the galaxy were poorly mapped, and strange anomalies often lurked in the darkness. A rogue black hole, an unexpected gamma-ray burst, or even a spatial rift could theoretically destroy a fleet, but none of these explanations fit perfectly. The odds of such events coinciding precisely with the fleet's arrival at Earth's solar system were astronomically low. Others whispered of sabotage or rebellion. Could one of the subjugated civilizations have created a weapon capable of defeating the Draconians? Unlikely. The Empire had crushed every major galactic power centuries ago, and no known faction had recovered sufficiently to pose a threat. Still, the possibility lingered, fueling paranoia among those who feared the rise of a hidden enemy. A small group of scientists and historians, analyzing the scant data recovered from the Draconian archives, proposed a different theory. They pointed to the planet at the center of the mystery, Earth. To the rest of the galaxy, Earth was insignificant, a backwater world inhabited by a species barely capable of exploring their own moon. Yet the Draconians had deemed it important enough to deploy a fleet. Why? Among the fragments of intercepted Draconian logs was a curious anomaly. Earth's magnetic field emitted faint, rhythmic pulses, unlike those of any other planet. To the Draconians, these patterns had resembled advanced encryption, something they associated with higher intelligence. The signal, though natural in origin, had been mistaken for an intentional message. The galactic community had largely dismissed Earth as harmless, but the Draconians had not. To them, the rhythmic pulses were not a greeting but a warning. They believed they were approaching a world that possessed secrets far beyond its apparent capabilities. What if humanity had hidden its strength? What if Earth's primitive facade concealed a weapon or defense system capable of turning the tide against the galaxy's most feared empire? As the Draconian fleet approached Earth, the mysterious pulses grew stronger, disrupting their sensors and communications. The fleet's AI systems began to fail, their advanced algorithms unable to process the irregularities in Earth's electromagnetic field. Reports from the fleet's final transmissions described a sense of unease among the crew, a feeling that something was watching them, calculating their every move. What began as whispers of an easy conquest had turned into whispers of something far more sinister. The galaxy was beginning to suspect that Earth was not as helpless as it appeared, but no one could have predicted the truth. Centuries before the Draconian fleet set its sights on Earth, humanity had sent a message into the void. The Voyager Golden Record, a golden disc etched with sounds, images, and greetings, was launched aboard two spacecraft in 1977. It was humanity's attempt to reach out to alien civilizations, a hopeful gesture meant to convey curiosity and peace. Encoded within the record were the essence of Earth, the hum of human voices, the rhythm of music, and the pulse of scientific achievement. As the decades turned to centuries, the golden records drifted beyond the edges of the solar system. Most humans forgot they existed, overshadowed by the technological leaps of space exploration. But the signals encoded in the records persisted, spreading outward like ripples in a pond, faint yet resilient, eventually catching the attention of the Draconians. The Empire intercepted the signals while scanning distant sectors of the galaxy. To their highly advanced systems, the data patterns were peculiar, seemingly too structured to be natural. They analyzed the signal for decades, believing it to be a form of encryption hiding something far more complex. To the Draconians, it wasn't just a recording, it was a message of defiance. The sounds and symbols of humanity were puzzling to the Empire's xenobiologists. They studied Earth's languages but couldn't decipher them. The greetings in dozens of tongues sounded like a taunt. The music, a symphony of frequencies arranged in emotional and mathematical patterns, seemed deliberately engineered to provoke curiosity. Even the encoded images, showing the diversity of life on Earth, were interpreted as a boastful display of resources and evolution. To the Draconians, who thrived on conquest and domination. The golden record carried an unsettling implication. Here was a species broadcasting itself to the galaxy, seemingly unafraid of being noticed. In their experience, such boldness was rare, and often a sign of significant power. Only an advanced civilization confident in its ability to repel invaders would dare to announce its presence so openly. The fleet's strategists debated the signal's origins. Some dismissed it as a relic of a forgotten species, but others argued it was a deliberate attempt to mislead potential enemies. They theorized that the message's apparent simplicity might hide a deeper, more dangerous intent. The rhythms and patterns in the recordings, though random to human ears, contained harmonics that mimicked certain energy signatures associated with highly advanced technologies. The decision was made. Earth would not be ignored. The fleet would investigate and, if necessary, eliminate any potential threat before it could grow. But the Draconians underestimated one crucial factor: Earth was not defenseless. As the fleet approached the solar system, the signal intensified, resonating in ways the Draconians could not explain. Their ships began experiencing anomalies, minor glitches at first, then cascading failures in navigation and communication systems. The closer they drew to Earth, the stronger the disruptions became, as though the signal had awoken something in the depths of space. What the Draconians didn't realize was that the Voyager Golden Record was more than a hopeful gesture. It had unknowingly triggered an ancient mechanism, a warning beacon that humanity never intended. The signal they had interpreted as encryption wasn't a message of power, but it had been received as one, and the galaxy's most feared fleet was about to learn the consequences of their miscalculation. Earth had always seemed unremarkable to the galaxy at large, a small, water-rich planet orbiting a middling star, home to a species that had barely begun exploring its own backyard. But what the Draconian Empire and even humanity itself did not know was that Earth harbored a secret far older than the human race, buried deep beneath its surface: the Guardian Field. Billions of years ago, long before the rise of humanity, a coalition of ancient, advanced civilizations had thrived across the galaxy. Known to scholars and forgotten legends as the Precursors, these beings understood the cycles of galactic life, the rise and fall of empires, the endless conflict between order and chaos. They knew that one day younger civilizations would emerge, struggling to find their place in an unforgiving universe. To protect these fledgling species, the Precursors seeded certain planets with artifacts of immense power. These devices were designed to shield and preserve worlds deemed valuable for life's future growth. Earth was one such world. Unremarkable as it may have seemed on the galactic stage, the Precursors had identified it as a cradle of potential. Deep within its core, hidden beneath miles of molten rock, they placed the Guardian Field as self-sustaining, hyper-advanced defensive mechanism. For billions of years, the Guardian Field remained dormant, waiting for a threat great enough to awaken it. Humanity's wars and pollution, even its brief ventures into space, were not enough to trigger the artifact. It was patient, waiting for something far more dangerous, an external threat from beyond the stars. That threat came in the form of the Draconian fleet. When the Draconians entered Earth's solar system, the Guardian Field stirred. At first, its activation was subtle, manifesting as slight electromagnetic anomalies around Earth's magnetosphere. The fleet dismissed these as natural phenomena, unaware that they were being watched. As the fleet moved closer, the artifact's systems came fully online, scanning the incoming vessels and identifying them as an existential threat to Earth's biosphere. The Guardian Field responded with precision and power unmatched by anything in the Draconian arsenal. It projected a hyperspatial disruption field, invisible to the naked eye, but devastating to advanced technology. As the fleet's warships approached Earth, their systems began to malfunction. Navigation arrays produced contradictory coordinates, weapons refused to fire, and even the mighty energy shields of the Eclipse of Eternity flickered and collapsed. What made the Guardian Field so terrifying was its ability to adapt. It studied the fleet's technology in real time, learning its weaknesses and exploiting them with surgical precision. The Draconians, who had never known defeat, found themselves helpless. Attempts to counter the disruptions failed as the artifact manipulated gravitational fields and quantum signals, turning the fleet's own advanced systems against them. Panic spread among the Draconian commanders. Ships that attempted to retreat were pulled into spatial distortions, disappearing without a trace. Others collapsed into singularities, leaving no wreckage. Within hours, the entire armada was annihilated, consumed by an enemy they could neither see nor comprehend. On Earth, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the battle taking place above their skies. The Guardian field operated silently, ensuring no trace of the invasion remained. To the rest of the galaxy, it was as if the Draconian fleet had simply vanished, swallowed by the void. The artifact returned to dormancy, its mission fulfilled. Earth had been protected, not through human ingenuity, but by the foresight of ancient beings who had long since vanished. Yet, the activation of the Guardian field sent ripples across the cosmos, a silent message that Earth was not to be trifled with. The galaxy had just been introduced to the planet's hidden power, and the consequences would reverberate for millennia to come. The disappearance of the Draconian fleet sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Draconian Empire, a civilization that had ruled with an iron fist for millennia, found itself suddenly and inexplicably weakened. Entire star systems that had once lived in terror now saw an opportunity to rise. Whispers of rebellion and defiance spread like wildfire. The Empire's greatest symbol of power, the indomitable fleet, was gone, swallowed by a small, insignificant system on the galactic fringe. Across the Empire's core worlds, panic took hold. The Draconian leadership scrambled to suppress information, insisting that the fleet's silence was due to an isolated technical malfunction. Yet the truth was impossible to hide. Strategic outposts awaiting reinforcements from the fleet received nothing. Trade convoys that depended on the fleet's protection fell prey to opportunistic raiders. The Empire's carefully maintained web of control began to unravel. Other civilizations, some rivals, others subjugated, watched with a mix of fascination and dread. The disappearance of the fleet was not just a blow to the Draconians, but a disruption to the fragile balance of power that had kept the galaxy in check. Theories ran rampant among scholars, military strategists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Some believed the fleet had encountered a natural phenomenon, an uncharted black hole, a rogue gamma-ray burst, or a spatial anomaly that had destroyed them. Others suggested sabotage, speculating that a hidden enemy had developed a weapon capable of neutralizing the Empire's might. The most unsettling theory, however, pointed to Earth. The idea seemed absurd. Earth was a primitive, pre-warp civilization that had barely begun to explore its neighboring planets. Yet the timing was too coincidental. The fleet had been dispatched to Earth's solar system, and within hours of their arrival, they had vanished without a trace. It was as if the planet itself had swallowed them whole. Galactic powers sent reconnaissance probes to investigate the Sol system. What they found only deepened the mystery. Earth's surface appeared untouched, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the events unfolding above. There was no sign of debris or battle, no energy signatures indicative of advanced weaponry. Yet the faint traces of an anomalous energy field lingered, a signature unlike anything ever recorded. To those who studied the anomalies, one detail stood out. The energy bore a striking resemblance to Precursor technology. The Precursors, whose ruins and relics had been found scattered across the galaxy, were known for their inscrutable, godlike advancements. If Earth was indeed host to one of their artifacts, it would explain the fleet's fate. But why Earth? Why had the Precursors chosen this unassuming planet for such a powerful safeguard? Among galactic historians, whispers of an ancient prophecy resurfaced, tales of planets designated as sanctuaries by the Precursors, protected by technology so advanced it could rewrite the laws of physics. Earth, it seemed, was one of these sanctuaries. To civilizations familiar with the Precursors' legacy, this revelation was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The Draconians, however, refused to accept defeat. Though they had no explanation for the fleet's disappearance, their pride demanded retribution. High Command began planning a second incursion, this time with an even larger force. They vowed to uncover Earth's secret and destroy whatever had thwarted their first attempt. What they failed to grasp was the scale of the forces they were dealing with. The Guardian field had not acted alone. It was part of a vast, interconnected web of Precursor technology that spanned the galaxy. By attempting to challenge Earth again, the Draconians risked awakening a threat far greater than anything they could imagine. The galaxy held its breath, uncertain of what would come next. To the Draconians, Earth was a puzzle to be solved and a threat to be eradicated. To others, it was a beacon of hope, proof that even the mighty could fall. But to Earth itself, it was just another day, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. The planet's secret had been revealed to the galaxy, and there would be no turning back. Unaware of the galactic turmoil it had caused, Earth continued its existence, a fragile blue marble spinning through the void. Its people went about their daily lives, blissfully ignorant of the Guardian field hidden beneath their feet. To humanity, the stars were still a distant dream, and their understanding of the universe was limited to theories and telescopes. But while Earth's inhabitants slept, the gears of an ancient mechanism had begun to turn. The Guardian field, now fully awakened, was not a simple defensive system. It was a living construct of Precursor design, part machine, part sentient algorithm, designed to adapt and evolve. With the annihilation of the Draconian fleet, it had detected a growing pattern of external threats. The artifact had remained dormant for billions of years, but its activation triggered a cascade of events far beyond its initial programming. Beneath Earth's crust, the Precursor artifact expanded its influence. Dormant nanostructures hidden within the planet's geology began to activate, spreading through the mantle and core. These structures emitted faint but complex signals that resonated with the electromagnetic fields of the planet. Satellite systems orbiting Earth picked up strange, rhythmic pulses, though humanity's scientists dismissed them as natural phenomena. The artifact's awakening was not confined to Earth alone. Across the galaxy, other Precursor sanctuaries began to stir. Planets thought barren and lifeless emitted bursts of energy that confounded even the most advanced civilizations. On distant worlds, Precursor relics long buried in sand and ice began to glow with renewed power. It was as if Earth's defense had triggered a galactic-wide chain reaction, a call to arms issued to the forgotten guardians of the cosmos. For the Draconians, this was no mere anomaly, it was a threat to their very existence. Their analysts, piecing together what little information remained, concluded that Earth was the epicenter of the disturbance. The High Command, blinded by arrogance and fear, saw only one solution: launch an all-out assault. The Second Fleet, larger and more advanced than the first, was mobilized. This time, the Draconians brought their most devastating weapons: neutron obliterators, planet crackers, and antimatter warheads. Their flagship, the Oblivion's Crown, was the largest warship ever constructed, its presence a symbol of the Empire's unyielding might. As the fleet approached the Sol system, they encountered the first sign of resistance. Invisible to the naked eye, the Guardian field projected a defensive barrier far beyond Earth's orbit. Draconian ships attempting to breach the barrier were torn apart by gravitational anomalies, their hulls crushed under forces they couldn't comprehend. The fleet's attempts to deploy drones and probes were equally futile. The artifact adapted to every tactic, disabling the Draconians' technology with ruthless precision. For every weapon fired, the field responded with overwhelming force. But the Guardian field was not merely reactive. It was learning. Through its study of the Draconian technology, it began to broadcast its own signal, a warning encoded in frequencies that resonated across dimensions. This signal was heard not just by the Draconians but by civilizations across the galaxy. For some, it was a beacon of hope. For others, a harbinger of doom. On Earth, the signal caused disruptions in communication networks and electrical grids, sparking curiosity among scientists. The artifact's influence began to seep into human systems, subtly upgrading satellites, hardening networks, and fortifying Earth's infrastructure. Humanity remained oblivious to the scale of the conflict unfolding above them, but their planet was transforming into something more than they could imagine. The Draconians, desperate and enraged, prepared to deploy their most devastating weapons. But as their fleet reached the edge of Earth's defensive perimeter, the Guardian field revealed its final capability. From deep within the solar system, hidden within the asteroid belt, came a surge of energy. Massive structures Precursor constructs, resembling crystalline towers, emerged from their dormant state, aligning themselves with the artifact on Earth. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as Earth's defense became an offense. The Guardian field, now fully awakened and connected to the Precursor network, had declared war on the invaders. The Draconians, for the first time in their history, found themselves facing an enemy they couldn't even begin to comprehend. The Draconian fleet, once the epitome of galactic supremacy, was reduced to chaos as it clashed with the fully awakened Guardian field. What the Draconians had assumed would be a swift and overwhelming conquest became their greatest nightmare. The Precursor artifact had evolved beyond its initial purpose, becoming an active participant in the cosmic theater. It was no longer merely a defensive system. It was now an executor of balance. As the battle reached its climax, the Guardian Field unleashed its ultimate power. The crystalline constructs hidden in the asteroid belt activated, forming a vast energy lattice that spanned the solar system. This web manipulated the very fabric of space-time, trapping the Draconian fleet in an inescapable gravitational well. Their weapons, no matter how advanced, were rendered useless. Antimatter warheads detonated harmlessly within the distortions, and planet crackers became nothing more than inert metal husks. The Oblivion's crown, the pride of the Draconian fleet, attempted to fire its primary weapon, a supermassive particle accelerator capable of destroying entire planets. But before it could fire, the Guardian Field struck. A focused energy pulse pierced the flagship's core, causing a chain reaction that imploded the vessel from within. The ship disappeared in a flash of light, leaving only silence in its wake. The surviving Draconian ships fled, abandoning their campaign against Earth. For the first time in their history, they knew true defeat. What they had encountered was not a primitive world, but the legacy of a civilization far beyond their understanding. The Draconian Empire, crippled and humiliated, would never fully recover from this loss. Rebellion erupted across their territories as their aura of invincibility shattered. The galaxy, too, had taken notice. Earth, a seemingly insignificant planet, had become a symbol of resistance. Stories of the Guardian Field spread like wildfire, inspiring hope among subjugated species and sparking fear among would-be conquerors. The Sol system was no longer seen as an unremarkable outpost, but as a sacred site, guarded by the enigmatic and omnipotent remnants of the Precursors. On Earth, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the cosmic drama that had unfolded. While scientists puzzled over strange anomalies in Earth's electromagnetic field and unexplained enhancements to satellite systems, the average person continued their routines, oblivious to the battle that had saved their world. Yet subtle changes were beginning to take root. The Guardian Field, now deeply intertwined with Earth, began to subtly influence humanity's development. It fortified the planet's infrastructure, strengthened its natural defenses, and even altered the magnetic field to shield against future threats. More importantly, it began to transmit faint signals to human technology's small nudges, guiding humanity toward advancements they had yet to achieve. The Precursor artifact had recognized Earth's potential. Unlike the Draconians, who sought to dominate, humanity was a species driven by curiosity, creativity, and resilience. The artifact's purpose was not just to protect, but to foster growth, ensuring that Earth's inhabitants would one day join the galactic community on equal footing. But the Guardian Field's awakening had not gone unnoticed. Across the galaxy, dormant Precursor artifacts began to stir, responding to the signal emitted from Earth. Some civilizations welcomed this as a sign of renewal, while others feared what might come next. The Precursor network, long thought silent, was now active, reshaping the balance of power in ways no one could predict. Earth's transformation was only beginning. The planet that had once been overlooked as insignificant now stood at the center of a galactic revolution. The Guardian Field's legacy would shape the destiny of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. As the last remnants of the Draconian fleet disappeared into the void, Earth's skies remained peaceful, the stars above shining with quiet indifference. But deep beneath the surface, the artifact waited, watching, preparing. For Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a beacon, a sanctuary, and a warning to the galaxy that even the smallest worlds could hold the greatest secrets. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Starlight Sci-Fi. Join us next time as we explore more thrilling tales of humanity's adventures in the cosmos. Until then, keep your eyes on the stars